Welcome back to In the Slant. Week 10 was probably the craziest week in the NFL, to be honest with you, so far this year. And we also have Jared back, which is literally amazing because we missed him the last 2 weeks. So finally, he is back. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you're new. As always, greatly appreciated. But yeah, we got week 10 in the books, man. A lot to talk about. Some of us are, feeling pretty good. You guys know I had to rock my Commanders jersey. We beat the Eagles on Monday night. We'll get into that a little bit later. In the undefeated streak of the Eagles. The Ravens were on a bye, and the Raiders right now go to 2-7.
Tanking season, baby. Give me a new quarterback, new OC, or get a head coach. I meant not OC. Give me a new everything.
As a Ravens fan, man, stress-free week. I can't complain.
Yeah, that has to feel pretty good. I also wanted fantasy. Jared, not so much. And Dustin, not so much either. So it was a good week for me. But Thursday Night Football is where we always start, of course. You had the Falcons and the Panthers. Marcus Mariota, man, he's
fucking terrible.
This game was obviously, for me when I was watching it, I was also watching another game as well. I was off and on a basketball game, so not another football game, obviously. But yeah, Mariota, all I can really take away from this game is this man literally tried to throw it up in the air when he was rolling on the ground.
Is this why Arthur Smith makes him not throw it off? Shit plays like that, or
this
what?
This has got to be why they don't throw the damn ball.
But it's crazy though, because realistically, I didn't think the Falcons were going to be a good team or anything, but I didn't think Marcus Mariota was that bad of a quarterback situation. But so far, and after watching something, I finally watched that Thursday night game, and I actually got to sit down and watch Marcus Mariota play. And never mind, I don't know why he looked decent with the Raiders last season for that one game he came in, but he's fucking terrible.
Now, a lot of people are probably already giving up on him. It is still, in my opinion, the beginning of the season, not fully over yet, so maybe he can turn things around.
You still want to give him that?
I'm not counting any quarterback out until it's officially over.
I mean, they still have a chance too because they're in the NFC.
Yeah,
too,
the NFC has been pretty poverty.
So I mean, I'm not saying it's over for the Falcons fans, but they gotta do something different if they want to see them in the playoffs.
And Kyle Pitts, well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Kyle Pitts had 8 targets and 6 of them were deemed uncatchable. As a fantasy owner, that just pissed you off because I'm very invested in Kyle Pitts. I'm in a toxic relationship with him. I can't bench him. I just can't do it, even though I definitely should. But
you can't because the upside.
That's like Amari Cooper not playing at home.
Yeah,
Amari bad he does.
No, Amari Cooper on the road sucks.
Yeah, we're on the road. Yeah.
That's crazy. I was literally looking at or something about that yesterday.
And then also one thing I just want to shout out to Drake Leonard. I don't know if you guys seen. There's a stat going around, or no, a stat that he has. Every ball is thrown to him, he hasn't dropped, and it's been over. I forgot the number of it, but it was just pretty cool. Pretty cool stat.
Yeah, good. Shout out to him, man. I mean, he's gonna eventually get more targets, hopefully.
And
he's done terrible in fantasy, but
it's just because they don't throw the damn ball.
Well, when he does get the ball,
what about what's it? Oh my God, Ritter,
Desmond Ritter.
They just need to start his ass.
That got brought up to Arthur Smith, and Arthur Smith said there's no conversation to be had. So sounds like
that means they have no fucking faith in him. Because I mean, there's no way you watch Marcus Mariota play, and then you're like, that's hoping to keep as my quarterback. There's just no way with how that team's been playing.
I mean, they went and got him, so I feel like they just got to at least end the season off with him.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not going to be in playoffs. Right now, you're still in playoff contention, so whatever. If you think Marcus Mariota is your best option, then start him. But once it gets to the point where you're not going to make playoffs, and if you're still starting Marcus Mariota, that literally makes zero sense to me.
And they also don't use Cordell Patterson. They didn't use him very much either. They ran Tyler Algier.
And didn't he run for 2 touchdowns last week too on his week back? So.
But enough about that game.
Fuck the Falcons.
Bucks versus Seahawks.
I don't condone any of that language. Or hate towards the Falcons.
Bucks versus Seahawks in Germany and Munich or whatever it's called. The Bucks come out here and run the damn ball, and their offense looks way better. Geno Smith had a little bit of a down game, I will say. He really couldn't get anything going most of the game.
Thank God he turned it up because I was pissed. I mean, I didn't win fantasy, so it didn't matter, but at one point, he was doing fucking terrible, and I was like, dude, fuck.
No, the Bucks were all over Geno Smith. The defense showed up, and like I said, they ran the ball a ton. They gave it to Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette.
Rachaad White's a dog, dude.
Yeah, so
stocks on him are going up.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette also went out with a hip injury in the second half, so I don't have much to say about this. The Buccaneers finally looked good, and they started to run the ball. So they fed Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette, and it worked out for them. Chris Godwin had his first touchdown of the season as well, which was really nice for them, and Mike Evans got involved. So shout out to the Bucs. They definitely needed this victory in Seattle.
Yeah,
honestly.
It looks like they're getting something together now. Finally,
if they can keep it up, it's gonna be good for Tampa
and like we keep on saying, we're not trying to talk shit on the NFC when we say this, but the NFC is just so open that even if you're having a couple bad weeks, you can easily turn it around in how the NFC is. Unless you're obviously the Vikings and Eagles, they have a huge lead over the division.
It's so open that right now my Commanders in 4th in our division can make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a half game back.
That's fucking insane.
I know at the beginning of the season when Brady was real down bad with the Commanders. Now knowing that they can potentially make the playoffs,
Yeah, no, we'll get into that later. I want to talk about it a little bit more. But the craziest game of the week for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Bills
definitely.
versus Vikings. Now, unfortunately for all of us, we all ran into unfortunate circumstances. I had to go to the hospital in the middle of this game. So I was watching and it was like 24 to whatever it was where the Bills were up 2 scores. I went to the hospital, came, and as soon as I put the game back on, I was like, and it wasn't for anything crazy. I'm fine. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I went to the hospital because I had an emergency to go on. But basically, it was a tie game when I got there, and just the end of the game was absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills get a stop on 4th down, but then when they're trying to get out of their own end zone, Josh Allen fumbles the ball, and the Vikings recover in the end zone. And just like that, touchdown Vikings. That at that point is 27-30. There's about 30 seconds left in the clock. Josh Allen marches downfield. Of course, like we knew, I kind of figured he would. He just too much time for him and Mahomes, and those guys will always get it done, it feels like. They go to overtime, and obviously the Bills never really had a chance at the ball. So Vikings go out and win. I mean, no one can say the Vikings aren't legit anymore, in my opinion.
No, and real quick, I want to point out, you do not fumble the ball on your 1-yard line.
Yeah,
that is the number one thing you do not do in your own end zone. And then it turns over and they get a touchdown. Not only that, we can't pass the Justin Jefferson catch on that 4th down.
Oh, yeah, I was about to mention
Catch of the year. I don't care how many games we still got. That's catch of the year by far.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah, that
that
catch
was a
was
crazy
Dude
catch.
caught it with one hand and like was flipping in the air and still held onto it without it touching the ground. Amazing, man.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson's a dog, man. I mean, there's not much more you can say. He's probably one of the best, and if not the best receiver right now in the NFL.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie and act like I watched this game completely because at one point I thought this game was over, and even our Vikings fan was in our little group chat we're in, and he was even saying that this game was over. And he's like, "Fuck the Vikings, like whatever, this game's over. The Bills, like we're not playing good." And then they make the comeback, and so I was not watching it for a little bit, but I did come back in for like the first quarter when I think. Maybe was it the Vikings were down by a touchdown or something? Maybe at the time I don't remember what it was exactly, but I watched the whole OT. I watched the JJ catch because that was just insane. So it was a great game, probably game of the year, especially right
Yeah,
now.
so
And actually,
far.
correction, now that I remember the end of this, I was thinking that Josh Allen didn't even have a chance in overtime, but no, the Vikings kicked a field
Yeah,
goal.
no, he did have a chance.
And then Patrick Peterson picked him off at the
Yeah.
end, so
Yeah.
my memory did me wrong.
that was a
for
terrible.
second.
I'm gonna be honest, that was a terrible.
Josh
throw by
Allen
Allen.
put over the ball a
But the
lot.
Bills were marching down the field pretty quick.
Oh,
So
yeah,
at that
definitely.
point, you probably thought, it's over for the Vikings, but Peterson came up clutch with that interception.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen is like top 3 right now in interceptions,
Yeah,
which
he
is
is.
he's been turning the ball over, and they've lost 3 straight. They've lost 3 games, not 3 straight, but they lost to the Bills, and then they lost to who did they lose to last week? I can't remember. Or the Jets. They lost to the Jets. But
Yeah.
so
That's when he got hurt.
Well, you said
too.
they lost to the Bills, which they're the Bills. So
oh yeah, the Bills
So,
lost.
so
to the
they
Jets.
lost to the Jets,
They
the
lost to the
Chiefs.
Dolphins.
Wait, no, they beat the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs, and they lost to the Dolphins earlier in the year, and then now they lose to the Vikings.
Yep.
So
Okay.
they get back on track. But that was a crazy game. Shout out to the Vikings.
And shout out to the Bills too. I mean, even with how Josh Allen's been playing, like that's still a good ass score, and you guys put up a
and
fight.
he came in injured, but he didn't look injured to me. He looked
No, he
He
looked
looked
great.
fine.
He
He
was running too like a motherfucker.
like he always does.
Yeah.
Next game, Lions versus Bears.
I didn't watch this game at all. I'm gonna just
I
get it
did.
out of the way.
I watched it. I got you guys. Don't worry.
Okay.
Justin Fields showed up until he threw a pick 6 to Jeffrey Okudah, which, by the way, we said earlier this year, Jeffrey Okudah has been amazing.
He's
for
a
the
dog.
Lions.
Yeah.
He's been playing great. He's been showing up lately this year. He's been, had health concern late or in the past, but he's been good this year. The Bears seemed like they had the stranglehold on this game. Justin Fields did drop me 40 fantasy points, so I will take that. He had a 64-yard touchdown run, and like I said, he threw a bomb to Cole Kmet, threw another touchdown to Cole Kmet, but at the very end, it was like 24 to something. I can't remember the exact score, but Justin Fields was just kind of like throwing it fade away. It was a terrible pass he should have never thrown, and Jeffrey Okudah picked it off for a pick 6. And unfortunately, the Lions went out and won this game. But I do gotta say, despite the loss, I do love what the Bears are doing with Justin Fields. They have him playing really good football. Other than that pick 6, he looked really good in this game. So just heartbreaking for the Bears to lose that way. Although I'm not sure they care because they probably want to have a higher draft pick anyway. You
Yeah.
know
But
what I mean?
okay, sorry, you good?
Yeah.
All right, like I said a couple podcasts ago, the Bears are using Justin Fields kind of like how we use Lamar, obviously mobile and he runs a lot. But I hate the fact that Justin Fields gets praised for running. Same with Josh Allen. All these other quarterbacks who run get praised for it. Not only do they not slide, they take full contact. I don't know much about Justin Fields, but I know Josh Allen for sure does. And they get all this praise, but when Lamar does it,
He can't
the
throw.
whole freaking league just erupts and blows up on him. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, no,
but-
Justin Fields was definitely taking contact. I mean, he ran through a defender to get into the end zone for a touchdown at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, but I did see that highlight where he ran that long one. But like I said, man, these guys get praised for it, man. Praise Lamar as well.
It just reminds me of like that Joe Burrow thing when it's like he was on the Pat McAfee show and Pat McAfee's like, why do you take all these hits when you're running with the ball? And he's like, just a part of football. He's like, that's how you know when you're playing. Like, what the fuck you mean that's how you know when you're playing when you just get mobbed?
I mean, low-key, though, quarterbacks that are big as Josh Allen, I can kind of see why he takes contact.
Oh, yeah,
Dude's
definitely
huge,
he's like literally like a 6'6", freaking
6'5". He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amon St. Brown looked good for the Lions. DeAndre Swift is
he's
still very limited. So if you're, I'm a fantasy owner of DeAndre Swift, so that's a little stressful, but it is what it is. I won this week, so I'm not complaining too much. Hopefully he'll get to a full, play a full game script eventually. Man, he's been super limited. It's really annoying.
And any fantasy owners that have Jamal Williams, I say, if you're in a 10 or 12-man league, throw him in your flex.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's always
Jared
smart.
has him in our league, and so that would be nice to have for me as a Swift owner, but it's all good.
I mean, you got Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, so.
Yeah, I could have started both of them and felt pretty good about it.
Great.
It was kind of funny. But next game, Jaguars at Chiefs. I didn't watch this
I actually did watch part of it. So I'm not going to say I sat here and watched the whole game because at first I did stop watching it for a little bit because I thought it was a huge blowout because like obviously the Chiefs were up a lot. But the Jaguars did put some points on the board, which I did watch that. Trevor Lawrence had his ups and downs this game for sure. He did make some plays where I was like, okay, he's looking like a great quarterback. But then on the other hand, he made his plays where, people were dogging him before for it. I mean, all three of them, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields all the same draft, or who was it? Who was the third quarterback I'm thinking of?
You said Zach Wilson,
Trevor Lawrence, and who was the third? Oh, Trey Lance stuff, but Trey Lance obviously isn't playing.
And I think Justin Fields too.
Oh yeah, Justin Fields was the late that pick. Right. So yeah, that whole draft class has looked pretty up and down, but I mean, we're just hoping that we can see more from him. The game was already pretty good itself. I mean, you thought it was going to be a blowout. Obviously, we all picked the Chiefs here, but Jaguars put a game. Travis Etienne did look terrible at the beginning of it, but did turn up towards the end of the game.
I mean, one thing to point out, Kadarius Toney, he's looking good.
Oh yeah,
he didn't score. He scored his first touchdown in his career with the Chiefs.
Me and Brady said when that trade went through that we think he's the number one there. I think
they traded a third-round pick for him, so yeah. I mean that's pretty high draft capital to give up for Kadarius. Well, not necessarily to give up for Kadarius Toney, but that's just a high draft to give up for anybody. So it sounds like they're going to use him, obviously, when they made that trade.
And I think he is the number one, and I think as long as he can stay healthy, because he's had issues with staying healthy so far, but if he can stay healthy, he's definitely the number one there, and that's a huge addition for the Chiefs.
Well, he also did say when he was with the Giants that he was healthy, but he just wouldn't play. He had said something like that to where somebody called him out for not being able to play, but he said, who said I was injured or whatever.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was an awkward thing in New York. It sounded like he didn't really fit the culture there, apparently. I don't know, but, I don't
know how, because I feel like, what fits the culture there? I guess the only culture they have is paying some guy way too much to not do shit.
Which he got benched, but Dolphins in Cleveland. The Browns, they just miss. Not really miss because they haven't seen him yet, but Deshaun Watson needs to just play for them already. They've gone. They've just lost. Obviously they beat the Bengals, but they've lost, I think, 2 straight now, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves me right. The Dolphins come out here and run all over the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns are usually the team that does that. Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert both looked fantastic. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill didn't even need to do too much in this game. Tua was kind of, slinging it to some other receivers. Alec Ingold, I believe, had a touchdown.
That's insane. Alec Ingold, the legend.
The fullback. And then I forget.
I fucking love Alex Ingold.
I forget their third wide receiver's name, but he also had a touchdown.
Cedric Wilson?
No, it's another guy. I can't think of his name at the top of my head right now, but he had a touchdown as well. I think it's Sherfield or something like Trent Sherfield, I think is what his name is. But yeah, he had a touchdown. So Tua was spreading the wealth. Waddle and Tyreek Hill didn't do too much in this game, but they definitely didn't really need it. Like I said, Cleveland just needs Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, once Deshaun Watson comes back, it's going to be a whole flip for that team, of course. And Amari Cooper, man, what's wrong with this dude? Can he not play on the road or what?
That's how he was in Dallas, too. It's so weird.
I get tired of starting him, but it's like the only receiver I have, and sometimes he does great.
And you can't not start him because then he's going to go off.
Jared,
and
you should only start him when he's at home, I guess.
Yeah,
that's legit how he was in Dallas. Like, he would literally have all of his blow-up games at home in, Jerry World. But like on the road, he would play like shit all the time.
But it's not like he was missing targets, though. He did have 3 receptions. I didn't count all 3 of them. So
before we move on, I do got one question for Jared. Just because obviously Jared was the only one that picked the Browns. Well, you guys don't get to see his prediction, but he picked. Why did you pick the Browns? Did you pick the Browns only because you hate the Dolphins so much because they beat you? Is that literally the reason why?
I felt pressured. I was last minute picks. I was scrolling through. I just seen Browns, and I thought they could beat
Jared
Dolphins.
said, "Fuck it."
Fuck it. Okay, I just wanted to know because I was like, I thought it was maybe just because you fucking hate the Dolphins.
Now, if the Browns were at home, they would have whooped the Dolphins' ass.
Yeah,
just kidding. Not really, but.
Texans at Giants. I didn't get a single set of eyes on this game at all, but the Giants go to 7-2. I mean, did you guys get a chance?
Honestly, I was too locked in on that Bills and Vikings game.
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, no watch time from us on this one. The Texans fall to 1-7. The Giants 7-2. So shout out to the Giants. I know Darius Slayton had a really amazing play. I saw that on Twitter, but other than that, don't know or have any knowledge. So the Giants 7-2. Shout out to them. Texans, I mean, they're going to continue to tank and probably have the number 1 overall pick this year, I would assume. We'll see if they just stick with Davis Mills.
And the Raiders will have the number 2.
Saints at Steelers is your next game. Najee Harris actually looked pretty good in this one. He had a big run, which was really nice, but he split the wealth of Jalen Warren a little bit. The Saints, them trading their first-round pick to the Eagles is looking more and more terrible by the day. It's just not aging well for them at all. Andy Dalton's still starting for them. Jameis Winston has started for them at times. It's just they need a first-round pick because they don't have the quarterback on the roster. I don't know you can say in full confidence that you're confident in either Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, or Andy Dalton as a guy going forward.
There's no way you can say you're confident in Andy Dalton. That's one thing you can for damn sure say is that Andy Dalton's not the answer.
I just feel like he's past his age to where he's just kind of one of those guys that's a backup.
But they're not treating him like a backup. I mean, I don't know what Jameis Winston, I don't know what is going on with him, but
I would not be surprised at all if the Saints went and traded like Kamara this offseason or something.
No, they should have. They should have to the Eagles when they
No, they shouldn't have.
They should have.
But no.
I would have been happy if Alvin Kamara was with the Eagles. That's all I got to say.
I mean, yeah, because, we'll talk about the Eagles here. I don't want to get jumped the gun just yet. But, yeah, the Saints, man, they're in such a terrible position. They went for it. They have Chris Olave, which is nice. They drafted Trevor Penning as well for an offensive lineman. But that trade with the Eagles, like I said, is just looking more and more terrible by the day because their draft pick right now, I think, is in the top 5. And the Eagles are going to have a top 5 pick if the Saints keep it up. So, that's scary to think about with how good the Eagles are.
I feel like the Saints are kind of like just like how the Raiders are. I mean, at the beginning of the season, they were kind of getting Chris Olave was going off and doing good, but it just seems like that if Alvin Kamara doesn't have a big game, that the chances of winning is kind of low. That's how it is with the Raiders. Like if Josh Jacobs doesn't have a big game, the only games we've actually won is when Josh Jacobs had a big game. So
you don't even know what they're going to do with Michael Thomas anymore. He got hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
The man could just never stay healthy. I don't even know what his contract looks like anymore. But Kenny Pickett had a pretty good game. The Steelers, I think I picked the Steelers.
You did pick the Steelers.
So I got that one on y'all, so I feel pretty good about that. Next game, Broncos at the Titans. I was about to watch it. I was legit had this game on. I was going to watch it. I'm glad I didn't because it looked like it was a boring game for the most part.
Yeah, as the Broncos playing.
But Jerry Jeudy was on my fantasy team, started him, and he got hurt very first play of the game. So that just pissed me off. I turned the game off. Didn't want to watch it anymore. So the Titans get the victory over the Broncos. Broncos just continue to disappoint, man. I mean, they went all in on Russell Wilson. Do we really need to say more? I mean, we've talked about the Broncos enough.
Yeah.
Titans, shout out to them. They got a bounce-back victory after losing to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Shout out. And then Ryan Tannehill came back for this game, so they didn't have to deal with Malik Willis this time around, which is a good thing. But the next game, unless you guys have anything to add to that one, I mean, we could talk about the Broncos. We've done it so much. I just don't even
So, Brady,
like...
do you take back your statement now? Because you did say that Russ only starts off slow. I mean, we're a fucking...
Yeah, no, I keep... I mean, I've already kind of taken it back, but then say, oh, Russell Wilson started to look good again. And then, no, he just... Man, he's been fucking... I don't know, man. It's just that contract is not looking good at all. That trade in general is not looking good for Denver right now. But Colts at the Raiders. Jeff Saturday... First-time head coach comes into Vegas and beats the Las Vegas Raiders. I watched this whole game because I actually made a trade because I was so confident in Justin Fields. I got Devontae Adams on my fantasy team now where I traded Lamar Jackson for Devontae Adams. I watched this whole game for Devontae Adams, and while watching it, I can just say the Raiders were so undisciplined in this game. They had so many penalties stack up against them. It was crazy. It seemed like for the first few times that Devontae Adams did anything, there was either a holding, an illegal man downfield. Derek Carr played fine. Josh Jacobs had a great game, of course, as well. Devontae Adams had a really good touchdown. But it just seems, and then Jonathan Taylor just kind of ran all over the Raiders, just kind of how it goes to the Raiders defense against the run right now.
Any running back against the Raiders, you start.
Yeah, so it's just how running backs have tore up the Raiders this year, unfortunately. But yeah, man, Josh McDaniels, I know he has this full support of Mark Davis behind him. So,
but he has no support of any other Raider player. I'm not trying to diss Josh McDaniels, but you could tell that when after the press conference of that game, Derek Carr and both Davante Adams talked about something, and you could just tell by what they were fucking saying that they hate Josh McDaniels. Like, they fucking do not want him there.
Yeah.
Like, even Davante Adams called out every player on the team and said, we're all playing like shit, but there's some things that are going on that I don't like and that a lot of people in this building don't like. And I'm assuming by that they mean Josh McDaniels, because his offensive play calling is fucking dog shit.
Yeah, Derek Carr seemed real emotional after that game.
Yeah, he cried too, because the team just looks like dog shit, bro. The offensive play calling's a joke. The whole team, we overpaid everybody, I guess, because every person we fucking played's injured. So, or
doesn't help.
Hunter Renfrow,
or they just don't show up. I mean, you got Chandler Jones, and I don't think
Chandler Jones terrible. Like this roster looked just so good on paper, but when you just watch the Raiders for one game, and you can tell there's just fucking shit off. Like there's no what's a connection with the team. Like Rich Bisaccia had everyone like riding for him, bro. The whole team fucking loved that dude. And then you get Josh McDaniels that you can't get anyone to ride with him, and everyone fucking hates him. So at this point, bring back Rich Bisaccia. I'm pissed that we let him go, because at least we were fucking winning games with him.
I mean, I guess it's clean house for you guys off season then.
Yeah, well, no, because Mark Davis wants to keep him.
Well, I mean, just whatever goes down, just hope.
I just hope
I am curious to see what the Raiders.
I want us to lose. I don't give a like. I'm not even saying this. Like, I know this sounds fucked up. I want us to lose every rest of the season games, so that maybe there's a fucking chance we fire McDaniels. Like, I just want us to, like, we play the Broncos next week.
That's how I felt about Ron Rivera.
Like, we play the Broncos next week, and I'm picking us to lose. Like, I'm not even capping. Like, I just want us to lose every game from here on out.
Yeah, the Raiders had a chance to win it at the end, but Davante Adams got Stephon Gilmore had great coverage on Adams at the end on a 4th down, and then the Colts got the ball, and that was all she wrote. So Jeff Saturday started Matt Ryan as well. Sam Ehlinger was moved to the bench. So shout out to the Colts. They got a victory, and I assume Jeff Saturday is going to try every week to put this team back in playoff contention. I mean,
that was a smart move too. Matt Ryan's definitely better than Sam
for sure.
Ehlinger.
I don't know why they said, oh, we're going to play Sam Ehlinger for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
That made no sense. And Matt Ryan played good, I would say.
But shout out to Jeff Saturday. He did say the Raiders are ass, and he was right. We are ass.
Got his first W.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Cowboys at the Packers. This is
a fucking crazy game.
This was a crazy game. Very wild. I didn't get to turn it on until like the end of the 3rd quarter. But there was a crazy stat that I saw. I don't know if you guys noticed when I said this in the group chat. Apparently the Dallas Cowboys were 195-0 all time when going to the 4th quarter.
What kind of stat is that?
That is fucking crazy. 195-0. But now it's 195-1, obviously. They went into the 4th quarter with a 14-point lead, and Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson had a great game for once, 3 touchdowns for him. Just an all-around great game for the Packers. Mike McCarthy, questionable play calling at the end or going for it on that 4th down in overtime. Aaron Rodgers made it happen. He just seems to always get the best of the Cowboys, it feels like. And they always come down to the wire.
And like, another thing, too, the Cowboys were dominant early in this game. Like, I mean, early in this game, I didn't think it was even going to be a game. I think they were up, like, was it like 14-3 or 4? It was like 4. It was something like that, 14-something. And I thought it was going to be like a blowout at that point, because, like, it just looked like the Packers had nothing going, but right when Watson got that amazing catch for that touchdown, it seemed like the whole energy like turned around in the game. Literally just turned around based off that one catch.
That was my question.
Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions too.
Is Alan Lazard being replaced?
Well, he's been being. I mean, it should have been either
I don't know
Romeo
if you can say he's being replaced. But
I know,
just having Watson as a weapon step up with Lazard is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, because he's been dropping passes all year.
Yeah, so I mean, for him, this is a building confidence with him and Rodgers going forward.
But you can't trust it because like I know that. Like I'm not trying to say they did not claim Watson this week, but everyone just remember the thing with Romeo Doubs. Everyone was like, must claim he's the #1 for the Packers, and then obviously it doesn't look like it. Yeah, so like. Yes, if you have a claim and like you need a receiver, get Watson, but don't take it for a grain of salt because like I said, it could go back to what it was where like none of the receivers are doing shit.
I think everybody. I already have a claim.
I have on a claim on him too. So I mean,
don't ever join the league with these 2 men right here.
I think Skylar's probably gonna get him, but we'll see.
Why he has Dobbs? That'd be so.
He's like
he has a whole Packers offense. Dude,
how did he flip his fantasy? He's 7-3 now.
Yeah, Skylar's 7-3. Shout out to him. But yeah,
I'm gonna hack this league and I'm gonna rig it.
But no, what did you guys think of the Cowboys? It was 4th and whatever it was, 4th and 3, I think, in overtime. The Cowboys, instead of kicking a 53-yard field goal, go for it on 4th down.
I give them one of these.
You like that play call by Mike McCarthy? I didn't like it. I thought it was.
I don't think you kicked the 53-yarder.
Yeah, dude.
Why not? Brett Maher has a good leg. I would have done it.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's not. I know who.
I'm saying he can't make it.
I will say though, Jair should have been called for PI on that last fourth down for sure. He got there way too early, but whatever.
Oh, dude, I think I know exactly
it was
what
on a
play you're
slant route. I
talking.
think it
Yes.
was CeeDee Lamb. If
Yes,
I'm not
no,
mistaken.
yeah, I think
Or
it
Gallup.
was.
I can't remember, but yeah, it should have been pass interference 100,000%. But no, they didn't call it. So next game, Cardinals at Rams.
These refs calls, actually, I gotta just say something. These refs calls this year have been fucking
Oh,
terrible.
We got a lot of ref talk to talk about when it comes to Commanders and Eagles for sure once we get into that one. But Cardinals at Rams, both the starting quarterbacks were out. Kyler Murray, Matt Stafford were both out. And I got to say, real quickly, for me, I see it too much on Twitter now. The Kyler Murray Call of Duty jokes are getting really old. I mean, it's just really
it's not funny
It's
anymore.
I
not
think Dustin's the one tweeting them out.
funny. They're not funny anymore. But regardless, like I said, this was John Walford versus Colt McCoy. The Cardinals just got the best of the Rams. The Rams had nothing going pretty much the whole game. They got a touchdown at the very end to make the score look a little bit better. But yeah, it was just a disaster.
Just the Rams have looked terrible all fucking year.
They just not looked good at all. And Cooper Kupp also going to IR now for them is not
It's
good.
huge.
Yeah, but I like this win for the Cardinals, though. I don't know if you guys seen that new TV show on HBO Max. I think it's called Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
It really shows the emotion that goes in that locker room, not just with the Cardinals, but every team. But there's this clip of Budda Baker, and he was just completely upset about how this team was playing because they have talent, and they can definitely go out there and win games.
Like this is a team that should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like is a playoff team. So like it's kind of like how the Raiders are. Like it's just like the Raiders should have been a playoff team, but like then they just
Yeah, I was high on you guys.
Yeah, that race for the 7th seed in the NFC is going to be pretty crazy.
Another huge loss, though, for the Cardinals. Not another, but a huge loss for them, Zach Ertz.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got hurt. That sucks, too. Next game, Sunday Night Football, Chargers versus 49ers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I fell asleep when the Chargers had a stranglehold of this game, so I wasn't sure what happened.
I honestly did not watch the end of this game either. So like
Yeah.
because I've been going to bed a little bit way early. So I didn't like when I was watching it, the Chargers were still up. I didn't even know the 49ers won until I woke up the next day.
That's how I felt. I fell asleep because I was just so damn tired, and the Chargers had like a good lead on the 49ers, and then I woke up, 49ers won the game. I know Elijah Mitchell had more touches than Christian McCaffrey, which nobody would have saw coming.
They said going forward that apparently they're supposed to be splitting carries between them two, which I think is crazy because, they just went and got CMC. But, hey, if you do it, I have them on fantasy, so
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. No, the 49ers get a huge victory against the Chargers. The Chargers have been just overall disappointing this year. The AFC West in general has been kind of disappointing, I would say. Everybody's hyping up that division, and it just hasn't panned out to what we wanted it to be. The Broncos, disappointing. Chargers injuries, obviously.
I was about to say, I feel like ever since Herbert got hurt, they just...
Yeah, and
I know he's...
Allen.
Yeah.
This is how I look at it. Raiders and Broncos, complete fucking dog shit. Chargers should be good, but they've been dealing with injuries and all that. And then obviously the Chiefs they just run
I
the
feel like
division,
once the Chargers get Mike Williams back and all them back,
but the Raiders did claim Jerry Tillery. I forgot to mention that.
He was a previously first round pick or something.
Yeah, the
oh my gosh,
Chargers released him.
That is going to flip the Raiders year.
Honestly, that's just the biggest pickup. Like, honestly, when I saw that, I was texting the boys, blowing them up.
Dustin said Super Bowl's back on.
I had to mention it. So shout out to Jimmy G, the 49ers. And also, Jimmy G, thank you for not throwing too many touchdowns to Deebo Samuel, because I was playing Jimmy G and Deebo Samuel on fantasy.
We all chose 49ers this game, I'm pretty sure. I know me and Jared did for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy G is just such a good game manager. Like, he just gets it done, man. So.
He might be one of the best, like, ever, like, game manager-wise. Like, he's
fucking
good.
handsome, and he's good at football.
Relax.
Okay, I'm not agreeing with anything Brady just said right there.
All right, baby. Let's talk about it. Monday Night Football.
Real question. How much did you guys pay the refs? I'm playing. Continue.
The Eagles go down. My Commanders come out here and beat the Eagles, beat the undefeated streak. Dustin, I was saying, I wasn't fully serious, but I said, Dustin, I was like, wait for your undefeated streak to wait till Monday Night fucking Football when we beat y'all. Remember I said that? And I was kind of like, nah, I'm just kidding.
Okay, first up, Brady, don't lie. If you guys would have lost, you would have just be like, yeah, I said that as a joke. But since you won, now you're like, I said that.
Talk my shit because we won. That's how it goes, Dustin.
I can't talk shit this season.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so when the game first started, Taylor Heineke fumbles the ball. The Eagles go down and score right away, 7-0. I'm like, oh, this game is about to be fucked. We're about to get embarrassed once again, like usual. But no, Heineke came out there, played great. The Commanders moved the ball on offense. They dominated time of possession. They kept Jalen Hurts on the sideline. Just an overall great game plan. And this also, just watching this pisses me off because this is the best coach game I've seen out of Rivera, the best play calling game out of Scott Turner. Like, why the fuck couldn't we have been doing this the whole season? Why do we got to wait till midseason? This is how it's been for Ron Rivera We've been starting off slow every freaking year, and then for some reason we just catch spark in mid-season, which I guess it's better to catch spark than never catch it. But man, this is just, it's crazy how I came out here and beat Philly in Philadelphia, and the refs were terrible all night. I will mention that. First and foremost, they called it pass interference on Benjamin St-Juste. That should not have been a pass interference. That was a terrible fucking call. Obviously, Dallas Goedert got face masked, which led to him fumbling, which was a terrible call as well. Or not a terrible call. They didn't call it at all. And obviously, if you guys saw it at the end, Taylor Heineke at the very end, was scrambling around a little bit, couldn't get anything going, so he kneels down. Brandon Graham barely hits him, but he does kind of hit him in the head. So the Eagles get a penalty. Just an overall crazy game. Terry McLaurin also burned the fuck out of Darius Slay the whole night. Burnt toast, Darius Slay. I gotta talk my shit, man. This was a great fucking win for the Commanders. And our next two games are the Falcons versus the Texans. So I'll say could, because for some reason I could just see us fucking being dumb. And
why do I feel like you guys lose to the Falcons next week? No, I'm just kidding.
No, we played Texans first.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I feel like for some reason that we got this victory, so now we're just gonna go out and lose to some fucking terrible team.
Yeah,
something.
actually, I need you guys to somehow let the Texans beat you, so the Raiders and them can have the same record.
Now, this is one of those games that I just waved off because I see the Eagles, I see the Commanders. I said Eagles are gonna win this, but obviously that was not the case this time. Commanders aren't as bad as the Texans, but I just didn't look at them to see. I didn't see them to beat the Eagles at all. Although you changed the whole Goddard, the ref situations, all that stuff. It could have been a different outcome. But I will not take this away from the Commanders at all. This was a great win for them.
And not even just that, but you mentioned the Texans. But the Texans were even giving the Eagles a good game the week previous. So when I saw that, I knew that the Commanders. Yeah, I saw that the Commander. I knew the Commanders could give them a game after I saw.
We ran the ball 39 times all night. Miles Sanders barely did anything because the Eagles couldn't really run the football at all, because they just didn't have possession of. They didn't really have much offensive drives. I mean, the Commanders just dominated time of possession, perfectly executed game plan. Like I said, this was the best coach game I've seen out of Ron Rivera this season. So
now,
shout out to him.
One thing I can say for the Eagles, though, imagine being an 8-0 team and going and trying to win every single game. The pressure of every game you probably play is insane. So I know this probably takes a lot of weight off their shoulders trying to have the undefeated season.
It's probably better to lose now than later, obviously. So I think the Eagles, obviously they lost this game, but they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
They'll bounce back.
You're not 8-0 to become shit for the rest of the season. So
dude, imagine they somehow lost every fucking game in the remainder of the season.
They haven't turned the football over at all this season very much, and they turned it over 4 times to us last night.
Well, you guys have a really good defense.
Yeah, the defense for Washington's been amazing. So
that's good. Finally.
Yeah, finally got something
going.
Young
ain't even back yet.
And
Chase Young's back next week.
And you said your offense was looking good too. So if both of them keep on
good last night,
if both can play good, then you guys are fucking
all they need to do is
team.
just feed Samuel just a little bit more. I need 10 targets a game at least.
It was a Terry McLaurin game yesterday.
No,
sure.
Samuel game from here on out.
But I think that's going to do it for us. Taylor Heineke should be the starter going forward. I don't even know why it's a debate whether or not Carson Wentz should be back out there. Heineke has won us 3 fucking games when Carson Wentz was barely winning us 1 against Jacksonville. It's just no debate in my opinion. But yeah, Eagles go down. We'll see what happens next week. Obviously, tomorrow we have our Week 11 predictions, and we'll get into that tomorrow. But for now, that is our episode today. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Slant, as always, saying peace.